Boulder, Colorado. Christmas night, 1996. The Ramsey home stood decorated in gold and red ribbons, a mansion glowing with the warmth of the holidays. 6-year-old JonBenet, a child beauty queen with curls like spun gold, had spent the day unwrapping gifts, giggling, and twirling in her new pageant dress. The Ramseys, John, Patsy, Burke, and their little princess, were a picture of suburban perfection. But by morning, that image would shatter. Patsy Ramsey, descending the grand staircase just after dawn, found a handwritten ransom note on the back steps. 3 pages, demanding $118,000 for her daughter's safe return. The number was oddly specific, the same as John Ramsey's recent work bonus. Panic consumed her. She screamed JonBenet's name, her voice echoing through the hallways. Police arrived within minutes. The house, however, was already teeming with neighbors, friends, and family. People who came to comfort but instead contaminated a crime scene. For 7 agonizing hours, JonBenet was missing. Then John Ramsey made a discovery that still haunts investigators. In the basement, behind a locked door, lay the body of his daughter, her tiny form wrapped in a white blanket. A garrote made from a paintbrush handle tightened around her neck. Tape covered her mouth. The horror that unfolded in that basement would ignite one of the most enduring mysteries in American crime. At first, suspicion turned outward. A foreign intruder, a deranged fan, perhaps a kidnapper who panicked. But the ransom note raised questions. Why would a kidnapper write 3 pages inside the home? Why ask for an exact bonus amount? Why leave without the child? Within days, the focus shifted. The parents, once victims, became suspects. The handwriting seemed eerily similar to Patsy's. The note's tone, grandiose, theatrical, sounded like something written by someone who wanted to sound criminal. Detectives began to suspect the crime was staged. Yet the evidence was inconsistent. No foreign DNA under the parents' nails, no signs of forced entry, and yet there was male DNA on JonBenet's clothing that didn't match anyone in the family. The contradictions split the public and police alike. Years passed. Patsy and John moved away, haunted by public scorn. Patsy would die of cancer in 2006, never cleared in the court of public opinion. Then, out of nowhere, came a confession that reignited the entire case. August 2006. 10 years had passed since JonBenet's murder. Then a middle-aged man named Mark Karr was arrested in Thailand after confessing to the killing. The world erupted in shock. Karr, a 41-year-old former teacher, claimed he was with JonBenet the night she died. He described her with unsettling tenderness, saying it was an accident, that he loved her. His confession sent a shiver through the media. Could this be the man who eluded investigators for a decade? But Karr's story was strange, too strange. He said he picked her up from her bed and gave her champagne. He claimed they had run off together, that the ransom note wasn't his doing but someone else's. He insisted he didn't mean to hurt her. Yet key facts didn't match. He said he picked her up from school. She was killed during Christmas break. He said it was snowing that night. It wasn't. He said he drugged her. No drugs were found in her system. Still, Karr's confession contained fragments that sounded too real to ignore. Investigators rushed to confirm whether his DNA matched the unknown male DNA found on JonBenet's clothes. While awaiting results, Karr basked in the attention. He smiled in press conferences, spoke about JonBenet as if she were a lost love. His obsession felt both deranged and rehearsed. Then came the results. The DNA didn't match. Mark Karr was not JonBenet's killer. The confession, once electrifying, unraveled into something darker. An act of delusion, perhaps fantasy, or a desperate plea for notoriety. Why would anyone confess to such a horrific crime they didn't commit? Karr had spent years studying the case, collecting photos, interviews, and autopsy details. He corresponded with journalists and even befriended a university professor who studied the Ramsey case. To her, he confessed privately before ever speaking to police. His language was poetic but chilling. He spoke as if JonBenet were still alive, waiting for him. Some psychologists argued he was driven by obsession, a need to merge himself into the tragedy to feel important. Others believed he sought redemption through punishment, that by taking on guilt, he could cleanse himself of other unspoken sins. Whatever his motive, his confession derailed the case again. Once more, headlines screamed the Ramsey name. Once more, the real killer faded into the shadows. For the Ramseys, it was salt in an old wound. John Ramsey said quietly in an interview, "Every time the world thinks it's solved, our family relives that morning all over again. In the years since, the JonBenet Ramsey case has become legend, a grim ghost story whispered through true crime documentaries and online forums. The ransom note remains one of the most scrutinized documents in criminal history. The handwriting, the word choice, the bizarre references to foreign factions, all still debated. The DNA, though partial, points to an unidentified male, but never enough for conviction. And the confession, Mark Karr's delusional admission, became a symbol of one of the justice system's strangest truths. People do confess to crimes they never committed. Was it guilt for something else? The allure of infamy? Or the desperate need to belong to a tragedy larger than oneself? Today, the Boulder Police Department keeps the case open, though decades have passed. JonBenet's pink gravestone still bears the words love and purity. Visitors leave tiaras, teddy bears, and ribbons, tokens of innocence stolen too soon. Some investigators still whisper about a family cover-up. Others remain convinced an intruder slipped through the window that cold December night. But when you strip away the theories, the tabloids, and the noise, what remains is this: a child's laughter silenced, a family broken by suspicion, and a man half lost, half liar, who confessed to a crime that was never his, because the truth was too unbearable to face. JonBenet's story endures not just because of what happened in that basement, but because of what it revealed about us: the hunger for answers, the cruelty of speculation, and the haunting power of innocence lost. The confession gave false hope, but it also revealed something far more disturbing. Sometimes, evil doesn't just come from those who kill, but from those who pretend they did. And in that twisted echo of guilt and fame, JonBenet's voice is still unheard, forever trapped between truth and obsession.